I mean, it is racist. It is a clear threat to people. And just like I denounce whoever's trying to assassinate Donald Trump for whatever reasons, they should denounce the fact that they are inciting nuts to feel that they can go into Springfield and save pets. That's those kinds of jaded thinking is what leads to killings.
You are going to love this video because we get to see the mainstream media get fact-checked by the governor of Ohio. He comes out and clarifies exactly where the bomb threats have been coming from, the source of the bomb threats, and again, just shows you how lazy and sloppy the mainstream media has become, especially someone like CNN Dana Bash and the Trump deranged individuals at MSNBC. Now, before I get any further about what the governor said, let's start with what MSNBC said. Watch.
They have literally had to close the schools and cancel town hall meetings because of these threats. And when you look at the fact that he is now admitting they made up a story, as you say, quoting him, that the media wouldn't cover, maybe the media didn't cover it because there was no story. It didn't exist. But again, this is consistent with Trump's campaign. Let's not forget Donald Trump as president called Haiti and several African countries S-hole countries. You also have to put into the factor in that if you are someone that is anti-Haitians in Springfield or coming in to think you're defending the people of Springfield whose pets are being eaten up, any black walking around Springfield looks Haitian. I mean, it is racist. It is a clear threat to people. And just like I denounce whoever's trying to assassinate Donald Trump for whatever reasons, they should denounce the fact that they are inciting nuts to feel that they can go into Springfield and save pets. That's those kinds of jaded thinking is what leads to killings. I did the funerals in Buffalo, New York, of a mass killer that felt he had the right to target blacks. I've been to others and did eulogies. This is dangerous. This is a threat to people. And at the same time we denounce what apparently has happened as a threat to Donald Trump, we should denounce what is apparently a threat to blacks and particularly Haitians in Springfield, Ohio.
Okay, so let's make sense of that garbage that he was spewing. Obviously, the media got their talking points, and what they're doing is conflating or combining Trump's attempted assassination with the Springfield, Ohio, which are two separate issues. So the fact that they're even speaking of them in the same sentence is laughable, to say the least. Let's go back to what he was saying about Springfield, Ohio, and Haitians, and if you're black, you look Haitian. Listen, I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night. Everybody knows what a black American looks like, just like a lot of black people know what Nigerian looks like, what South African looks like, Belizean looks like. We're not that stupid, okay? Not all black people look the same. That's like saying, yeah, people who are from Mexico who are in Springfield, Ohio, these other migrants from Central America, they're Mexican too. No, they don't all look the same, okay? So that was a stupid statement from him, to say the least. And then the third thing is, why or how could it be the same thing? When you guys keep getting on the news and saying that Trump is a threat to democracy, that sounds more clear. And we can argue with that statement that it is inciting violence. When you make people see someone as a threat, it inherently is violent. The word threat is violence, right? But when Trump says that the illegal migrants that he saw on the television, that they're eating people's pets, how is that a violent statement? That's just saying I saw what I saw on social media and I'm saying what I saw. Just like JD Vance, I am saying that these ducks are being stolen because that's what my constituents are telling me. How is that inciting violence? That doesn't make any sense, right? So they're conflating the two, but they're so off base on this. All right, so let's go back to that interview with CNN Dana Bash and hear the accusations that she made towards JD Vance that has proven to be wrong.
So the mayor of Springfield, Ohio, Rob Rue, said, quote, all these federal politicians that have negatively spun our city, they need to know they're hurting our city. And it was their words that did it. Before Donald Trump talked about eating dogs and cats on a debate stage, it was you, Senator, who first elevated this baseless rumor. These are your constituents. So why are you putting them at risk by continuing to spread claims about Haitian immigrants, despite officials in your state saying that there's no evidence and pleading for you to stop?
Okay, so that was the question. Now, half of her question was a quote from the mayor stating that all, not JD Vance, all federal politicians are creating more of a problem in Springfield, Ohio, with what they've been saying. And the second half was she was stating that JD Vance's elevating of a baseless claim or a baseless rumor has started to cause problems for Springfield, Ohio. But what people have forgotten, because so much happens right within 24 hours when you're talking about a media cycle, especially on social media, it was just a week prior to the debate that the people who lived there were screaming at the city council meeting in regards to these claims that migrants are eating pets, that they are abducting geese and ducks, that they are draining resources. That story went viral, and then it got trumped by the debate by Trump, right? No pun intended. So let's be clear, to call it a baseless rumor would be to say that the citizens of Springfield, Ohio don't know what they're talking about. I like to believe the citizens who actually live there, not someone who hasn't even been there, like a Dana Bash.
You're the senator from Ohio, so instead of saying things that are wrong and actually causing the hospitals, the schools, the government buildings to be evacuated because of bomb threats, because of the cats and dogs thing, why not actually be constructive in helping to better integrate them into the community? Because there are a lot of employers there who say that the Haitian workers are helping fill jobs that they need desperately filled.
Yeah, so you right there heard her actually accuse him of what he's been saying is causing the bomb threats to happen, the evacuations to take place. This is where she made a mistake. This is what we talked about in that last video where I believe JD Vance, in another alternate reality, ended her career because she was lazy and sloppy with the questions that she was asking him. I understand if she wants to criticize him on the point of talking about Haitian migrants eating cats and dogs, but to accuse him of inciting violence by saying that to the point where bomb threats were made when there hasn't been an investigation that proved that his statements caused it, that right there is lazy journalism. And so she should be ashamed of herself. She definitely should be issuing an apology. And for you guys to truly understand why she should come out and apologize or walk back what she said to JD Vance, listen to what the governor of Ohio had to say.
33 separate bomb threats, each one of which has been responded to, and each one of whom has been found as a hoax. So 33 threats, 33 hoax. I want to make that very, very clear. None of these had any validity at all. We know that people are very, very concerned, and we have taken some actions, and in a moment I'll let Andy Wilson go into more detail. But we've moved resources into Springfield. So I want to say to the parents in Springfield, these hoaxes, these threats have all been hoaxes. None of them have panned out. We have people, unfortunately, overseas who are taking these actions. Some of them are coming from one particular country. We think that this is, one more opportunity to mess with the United States, and they're continuing to do that. So we cannot let the bad guys win.
Listen to what he said very carefully. Many of these threats are coming from overseas, and it's being sourced back to one particular country. Now, what country would that be? Obviously, it's one of two, either Russia or Iran. Obviously, we'd probably believe it's Russia, given the current context around Russia recently, when the federal government, particularly Joe Biden and the Department of Justice, came out and said that Russia is trying to meddle in our elections. Now, let's just say this for the sake of common sense, right? Because, things like this that are based on common sense is a rarity today for some reason. I don't understand why someone would call in a bomb threat 33 times because Donald Trump said that the illegal migrants are eating cats and dogs. That just doesn't make sense, right? That doesn't pass the smell test or the common sense test. I mean, I don't understand how the media can even connect those two. But they'll do whatever they have to do to obviously diminish Trump, right? And so we hear the governor come out and finally say, no, these threats are actually from overseas. He didn't say Russia, but we can conclude that that's what he was insinuating. Doesn't even matter if it is Russia or not. The point is what? It didn't come from Trump. It didn't come from J.D. Vance. It's coming from people overseas. It's not even coming from regular Americans. So what CNN, Dana Bash, what MSNBC, and all these freaking propaganda news channels, what they need to do is go balls to the wall on what the governor just said. Why are they not talking about Russia? Why are they still talking about cats and dogs? They get to choose what they want to talk about. I mean, that would be the honorable thing to do, of course, but I don't think they have any honor left when it comes to the mainstream media. And the part that frustrates Americans is that they don't apply the same standard to Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. They don't. They don't come out and say, well, if we're going to accuse Trump and J.D. Vance of inciting violence to the point where there was bomb threats to a hospital and a university in Springfield, Ohio, because they talked about illegal migrants eating cats and dogs, wouldn't it at least make sense at that point that what Joe Biden has been saying and Kamala Harris has been saying and Nancy Pelosi and Hakeem Jeffries and even people on our own network that has called Donald Trump a threat to democracy, that he needs to be stopped, that he needs to be eliminated? I mean, at that point, that would make sense for them to come out and say that, because the standard for what's true is already low, right? It's already crazy that they're trying to connect Trump and J.D. Vance to that ridiculous claim about bomb threats. But if we're going to stoop that low to how much the truth really matters, why don't you guys come out and apply the same standard to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? Well, we already know that they won't, because they are just an extension of the Democratic Party.
Well, what is the implication, Dana? I actually love to have this conversation right now live on air.
Right.
What is the implication when you say you calling out these problems has caused a bomb threat? You accused me of causing a bomb threat. Doesn't that mean you should shut up about the residents of Springfield? Don't you realize you're engaged in basic propaganda to silence the concerns of American citizens?
I was quoting the actual mayor of Springfield, Ohio, begging after the bomb threats, begging federal officials, to please stop putting negative attention on his city. And I'm not talking about the policies. I'm not talking about the very real challenges that Springfield has. I'm talking about baseless rumors about Haitians eating dogs and cats. And that, after that was said on a debate stage, that is when these bomb threats started. And that is a fact.
You know what? It is a fact that it started after the debate. But what is not a fact that it started because of what Trump said. And I find it funny that she tried to lie her way through that response and say that she didn't accuse him, which we already played that clip that she did. And, we're just in a time where the media doesn't care whether they tell the truth. In fact, we live in a time where the truth is almost irrelevant. Half of America, they don't care about the truth. They care about how they feel. And if we don't start using common sense, we're going to be in trouble. I wrote this on X, and you guys should go check it out for yourselves. I won't read everything, but a part of this post applies to what we're talking about in this video. Listen to this very carefully. This is an era in history that will be looked back at as one of the main reasons why corporate media and the politicians in Washington have lost all credibility. I have a feeling that they would rather lose credibility if that meant that they could get rid of Trump. I have a feeling that politicians would rather fail on every policy if it meant that they could get rid of Trump. you must pay attention, because it's not that they're coming after Trump. They're coming after me and you. It's the people who love this great country, where they want to put America first. What does that mean? Well, we are the threat to their interpretation of democracy. The Democratic Party and corporate media have made the ultimate mistake. They have put their personal beef with Trump over the truth. They put their personal beef with Trump over policies that would help Americans. This can only lead to one final conclusion, that it will backfire on them, and it has, which is why he's the Republican nominee. The more you try to control something like Trump or the MAGA movement, the less control you actually have. That is my message for you in this video and my overall opinion. What do you guys think about the governor coming out and fact-checking CNN, Dana Bash, and all of these other propaganda channels that try to attach the bomb threat to what Trump said, which is just utterly ridiculous, and the fact that they think it's the same thing as someone trying to assassinate Trump, and the fact that they don't want to admit that it's their rhetoric that has led to the heightened political violence, to the point where Trump just experienced a second assassination attempt. Let me know what your thoughts are and more in the comment section below. Thank you for checking out the video today. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.